Todo mundo con talante. Bachkata, kududu, bachkataka. Bachkata, kududu, bachkata. Bachkata, kududu, bachkataka. Bachkata, kududu, bachkata. Bachkata, kududu, bachkataka. Bachkata, kududu, bachkata. Bachkata, kududu, bachkataka. Todo mundo, ha. Quiero todo mundo, quiero yala. Quiero todo mundo,
For you. Freedom.
Keep your ear to the ground.
Talking about the freedom.
It's the best show in town.
Best show in town. Freedom. Well. Freedom.
I give you freedom. Yes, it's right.
Freedom.
Start right now.
Freedom.
Get your freedom tonight.
Freedom. Well. Freedom. Come on, everybody. Young, old, all you lovers. This is our time to rise back from the sand and claim our freedom. Talking about the freedom. Got to do it. Let yourself be free.
I give you freedom. Yes, it's right.
Freedom.
Start right
Talking
now.
about the freedom.
Get your freedom tonight.
Freedom.
I give you freedom. Yes, it's right.
Freedom. Let yourself be
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Colby. Happy birthday to you. you're 40.
4
And this
0.
means that there's nothing that rhymes with 40.
Sporty.
Sporty. I don't want you to be more sporty than you already are.
Shorty?
Shorty.
Hey. Thank you. Thank you for the glorious song. And also birthday donuts.
Duh.
I'll be having a crumb donut here in a minute.
In a minute.
But we're not just here to
Why
celebrate.
does that
my
feel like
birthday.
it's from the 90s?
In a minute. In a minute. In a minute. It is. It was like a PBS. It was, or is that? I don't really know. But yes, we're also here to do Virtual Church together.
Yeah.
So welcome to Sojourn
Totally.
Grace.
It's the first week in Pride, and we have prided out the church
And Ben's head.
decor and Ben's
Oh, I
head.
like your ears, Ben.
Thank you.
Look fantastic.
Anyway, hi.
Glad you're here.
Glad you're here. Good to see y'all. Is that all we're going to say?
Yeah, we've got some great music. They've got some great music.
Yeah, we don't have great music.
Kate's going to do a really lovely time of holding. How do you describe it?
What? Huh? What's happening?
the
Oh, you're
prayer
just
time?
telling people what we're doing
Yeah.
today? Oh, yeah, we're just going to hold space for people's hard things today.
Hold space for hard things. I'm going to give a little talk called Sameness is Overrated, a.k.a. the queering of the church. And we're going to end with communion, which we are ready for. So get y'all's ready. Yeah, I think we've covered it. So glad you're here.
Colby likes to go through each of the things we're going to do, and I forget that, hence the looking at you like, what? What are you talking about?
Set the table of
Sorry.
anticipation.
All right, love y'all. Glad you're here.
Welcome.
It's in C. Me and all my friends were all misunderstood. Say we stand for nothing and there's no way we ever could. See everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. Feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. So we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's hard to beat the system when you're standing at a distance. We keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. Oh.
I really like the juxtaposition of the song in your hat.
If we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, you'll never miss a Christmas, no more ribbons on their door. When you trust the television, what you get is what you got. When they own the information, oh, they can bend it all they want. So we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care, just we know that the fight ain't fair. So we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. So we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. One day our generation is gonna rule the population. So we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change.
Hey, good morning.
Hi.
I looked for a rainbow wear this morning, and I couldn't find and I didn't have any rainbows in my wardrobe, which is not true. It's not accurate or true or normal or expected. Something's wrong. So I guess I'm commissioning us all to go figure out where have all the rainbows gone?
You can buy some at any major retail
Where
outlet
have
right
all
now.
the rainbows gone?
I don't know. So I did find my honeymoon t-shirt, which I never got to wear because COVID canceled my honeymoon.
Yeah.
So, I'm wearing it today. There we go.
It's a sad rainbow story.
This is
Happy
look, you
Pride.
guys, somber pride. Where have all the rainbows gone? Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. Okay, sorry. We're not doing that song.
That's not a song we're singing. Listen, it's always up in the air. We never know, really. Might be a song we're singing.
It's been a while since I sat with you without a knot in my chest, oh. And it's been a while since I wanted to. I always felt a little oppressed, oh. It's been a while.
It's been a while since I went ahead and let down my guard, 'cause I carry the weight of the words you said, and that makes it just a little bit hard to reject the lies you perpetuate. But you're not the keeper of the pearly gates. Oh, it's been a while, but I'm coming back to fight for my place.
A good day to come back home. You sent me away, but I was never alone. You were afraid there was not enough, but you can't run out of love. So I'm here to stay, and I'm sitting in the front row. It's a good day to come out of the shadow. God made me good in every way, so I raise my voice to celebrate a good day.
It's been a while since I could admit that there was something missing, but I've seen enough to know what love is. Yeah, and what love isn't. I'm not content to fade into the crowd, and you decide who's in or out. So I'm coming back, 'cause I'm living proof that it all belongs without a doubt.
Good day to come back home. You sent me away, but I was never alone. You were afraid there was not enough, but you can't run out of love. So I'm here to stay, and I'm standing in the front row. It's a good day to come out of the shadow. God made me good in every way, so I raise my voice to celebrate a good day. Yes, I will. Come on. It's a good day, nothing's gonna keep me out of the light. I'm not gonna hide, I got a heart in the right place, covered in the good graces of an endless love. It's a good day, nothing's gonna keep me out of the light. I'm not gonna hide, I got a heart in the right place, covered in the good graces of an endless love. A good day to come back home. You sent me away, but I was never alone. You were afraid there was not enough, but you can't run out of love. So I'm here to stay, and I'm dancing in the front row. It's a good day to come out of the shadow. God made me good in every way, so I raise my voice to celebrate a good day. nothing's gonna keep me out of the light. I'm not gonna hide, I got a heart in the right place, covered in the good graces of an endless love. It's a good day, nothing's gonna keep me out of the light. I'm not gonna hide, I got a heart in the right place, covered in the good graces of an endless love.
Hi, friends. Let's collectively converse, shall we? Shall we?
I didn't put this on my head. Karen put it on my head, so I'm just trying to.
You're trying to fix it?
Yeah. Is it fixed?
It looks great. I mean, I don't know how you want it, but I like it like that.
I had some of my fringe like just tucked into it, which
I
was
feel like
awesome.
certain heads can pull that off and yours can. Mine,
That's funny because I'm not really a hat person. You know?
unless it has ears, then you are. Ears and rainbows.
Turns out Disneyland is my place.
Do you want to
Sure.
pick through first? We've been
should
running
maybe
into a lot
cut-
that we've
cut the deck,
done,
maybe.
so I think something occurred
just
with
from the middle
putting
of the
back. Yeah, like that.
Oh,
Oh, that's
I
neat.
kind of like that. Pride.
I like that a
Pride
lot.
related.
How neat.
I'm most proud of my family for.
Dot dot dot.
It's a good little pride one.
Yeah, I like that it's worded my family. Like that could mean anything. Who's your fam bam and why are you proud of your family?
It's kind of
It's
funny
pretty
that we
great.
pulled this one though.
I know. We're like, we're not. But you're my family.
Yeah, this is true.
My family are the people that live in this home and are currently in this room. And I'm proud of them because I'll share that. Yeah. So the other night at the dinner table, I shared this with my kids. I think the question actually that we pulled around the dinner table with my kids was, who's the most optimistic person you know? And in our family, we've reoriented that word optimism to mean what it should mean, which is people who are willing to look right at problems and then keep going and figure out a way. And so I shared that these humans here in this room are the people that I believe are the most optimistic people in the world. And so that's what I'm most proud of this family for. Is they're just constantly keep going, finding ways. I mean, even just looking at the last few years with COVID, the way that you all have continued to find ways to do, but just in their lives, like each of them individually, the way that they do that, and then the way that we all do it together as a family.
We're like
Is
cockroaches.
my favorite thing.
You can't
We
put
are
us
like
down.
cockroaches. this is the takeaway.
We survived the apocalypse.
Yep. Yep.
I think, yeah, Amen. I kind of want to build on that because I think that song that we just sang probably has been introduced a million times, but maybe there's some people on here who haven't heard that song before. Matthew wrote that song a couple of years ago now, back in a kind of small group here in San Diego, and I hope I'll get this right, but I think I've heard enough times to tell the story properly. But the small group was a whole bunch of queer folks who were kind of talking about kind of why they were still had faith while they were still in the church, all that kind of stuff. And Matthew, being the 8 that he was, charged in, was just like, well, I don't have to have faith and I don't have to do this. So I'm proud that I kind of don't have to do that. And then sort of walked away from that moment convicted that there were these people who were taking up spaces in places like church and who said, no, it matters that people are here and representation matters. And the fact that you can't tell us who's in or out in the church anymore matters. And so I'm really proud of this chosen family I have around me because they're people who've fought hard to be themselves. They're people who've fought hard to be authentic, to just push away narratives that kind of mean that we kind of have to hide parts of ourselves and squash ourselves down. So that's definitely what I'm proud of.
I like Karen. She said, being learners who are open to change their minds when presented with new information.
Nice.
I'm proud of your family for that too. Always finding a way, our resilience,
It's awesome.
always finding a way. This fam is most for my family, me and my kids, for providing a safe space for their girls to come out. That's great, darling.
Amazing.
Hey. Colby says, I'm most proud of my family for making, holding, and protecting space for all people, especially those who need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the other day we went to, that's what you're thinking of, huh? Can I even tell this story? I don't know if I can. Our son Ty has struggled to find spaces where they feel like they belong and where they can like participate at school, specifically with school, and finally found the school where like it works for them. And so we, for the first time this week, it was this week, right? You know, me and Time, Thursday night, we went and had like their end of the year, like open house, see their school thing. And Colby and I just kept looking at each other like, shit, because everyone was like, Ty, our child Ty, like gravitating toward them. And in the way that you could tell that it was like Ty was like the mother of the crew, and they all needed Ty. And like,
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
anyway,
On multiple levels. And I think it is sometimes, and it is what I just said, I think the people who have to fight hard to find themselves kind of create space
Become that.
for everybody. You know, there's no other, there's this default, you know.
yeah, the mothers of the misfits.
Yeah.
Susan says, I'm proud of my daughters for the way we love each other through the hard stuff and share all the silly stuff. I love that about your family, Susan. I've seen that with y'all. It's amazing. Kristen says, proud of my family for being exactly who God made them to be.
Yep.
Aaron says, I'm proud of my family for being open-minded and compassionate regardless of what friends and family say and do. Cameron says, our variety of emotions, beliefs, and personalities revolving around a core of love and respect for each other.
That's beautiful.
That's gorgeous. Donna says, I'm proud of my family who consist of all those who have been brave enough to find their own faith. That's amazing.
Yep.
Oh, Susan says, I'm proud of my Sojo family for both and it all belongs, loving us completely. Love it.
Lovely little roundup.
These are great. Do you want to pull one more
Yeah.
fun card for us of some sort? Oh, we're just sticking with the pride theme, but we're going a little bit darker. It's sadder this time.
A time I felt rejected.
No.
Wow. How much time do we have?
Right? I mean, Anne Marie hopped on and said, I'm most proud of my kids for their kindness and their unconditional love.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, you can always keep answering the first question too if you're catching up. God. I'm like trying to think of a light, silly, fun one.
Middle school?
Middle school, there you go.
Like the whole middle
Just middle school, just period. Middle school. I was carrying off camera. Saying that. Yeah, God. Ugh.
I know. Any light, funny ones?
I was rejected at the DMV this week and that sucked.
Where are you?
Have you had that a
What?
few times?
Yeah, I've definitely had that a couple of times.
Ben,
Yeah.
Ben's been there. Knows how that feels. I was so mad.
What happened?
Being a woman sucks. Being coerced into changing your name. Once you do that, you're forever screwed with stuff. They needed so many documents to prove that I'm the person that I am because I have a married name. So many documents. Yeah. And I'm sitting here knowing that I am coming from a much less having
I had done that
it's just
twice.
so bizarre. It's like, why? Why is that so
So painful.
And I had so many documents. That's what made me crazy. I'm like, these 40,000 state sealed, county signed documents aren't the, and again, I know I'm preaching to the much bigger choir, but good Lord.
I think we need to talk about that more often because there's a lot of
Right?
people who are just undocumented, who their life is just.
If that was that hard for me because of that little thing, yeah.
Yep.
Ugh, gross. I hate it.
Yeah, immigration is another good answer for this question.
Yeah.
Did you tell you felt
Immigration.
rejected?
You
Rejected
felt
by the entire
very
country.
rejected by America. America.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Julie hopped on with another pride one, so I'm going to share that. I'm proud of my family for continuing our buy one, get two free mode. If one of us has a project, the other two dive in wholeheartedly. Oh,
That's awesome.
that's fantastic. Love that. Oh, Shane, I'm so sorry. When I learned of my mother's 2016 voting choices, yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you if you can't answer this one. Totally cool. We're just going to share a few. My first identifiable crush, 1978. We were caught by the principal holding hands, two little boys holding hands at school in 1977. Unacceptable. Got sent home and a spanking. Oh, Cameron, we're all just going to hold a
my
little space for
gosh.
that story. Love you. And I'm so glad we've moved from 1977 a little bit
Right.
at least. Or a lot of it. Oh, Susan, this is a beautiful share. My untrue rejection, because rejection is a trauma response for me, is when I'm sad and alone, I feel rejected by all. It takes a lot of truth-telling to myself for me to stop it.
That's big.
That's a really great share.
Self-rejection is massive. Massive. Stuff I'm learning about recently. Oh, boy.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Rejection is painful.
Yeah, this is...
Let's do a fun one. keep sharing, though, if you need us to hold space for you.
No. Not stuck in my house for 3 months. Nope.
Yeah, I love it.
All right.
I think we've done it before, but it's a great one. We'll
Yeah.
return to it.
The best gift I have ever received. ...
I mean, if I'm just going to say in the present moment, my weird Aldi gift. Best gift. What is the best gift I've ever received? I could be like really high-minded and spiritual about it and be like, my children.
Grace.
Grace. Sorry. That's a really good gift. It is. Grace. Totally. Oh my God.
Amazing.
Ooh, I love this. My daughter's poems and my son's hugs. Best gift ever, Wesley. Oh, I was laughing about that, but this actually is amazing. Best
Yep.
gift ever, our dear friends as surrogate and egg donor. I love it. Concert tickets. Gotta tell us what concert. Which
Yeah.
one? Also, we see all of you with the rejection stories, and
Yeah.
we love you, and we're holding space for you. Those are painful as F.
A kitten.
Oh, Aaron said my serious one hurts too much, so I'm going to share a funny one. When everyone wants to go for ice cream, and I would rather get a pastry or pie, so I get overruled. That is funny. I like it. Oh, a Mother's Day poem for my son who has a fantastic writing gift. That's amazing. I love it when kids do that.
We were at a party last night, and I was reminded how many people don't have the writing gift and then write poems for their significant others, and then forgot that was a thing, and it was so awkward. I'm sitting there just watching Karen trying to watch the
Oh my
poet, just
God.
like.
Oh, I love that you're all holding each other too. Thank you for that. Aw, great is this? Best gift ever.
That's
When my
so
son
nice.
says, I'm so proud of you. Aw,
Yes, some good
Cameron.
ones. Here we go.
these are joyful stories. Kristen, that's
Kristen's bestie.
amazing.
What if they're still in Australia? Surprise trips to Hawaii are amazing.
Oh my gosh, Shane, that's hilarious. I think it was a gift. Might have been something I bought myself.
That's okay. The best gift you ever had if you gave it to yourself. I
Yeah,
think that's fantastic.
amazing.
Self-love.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, yay, Susan. Congratulations to
A
Ooh,
mini microscope.
We both saw that one and reacted at the same time.
It's a mini microscope though, which is really cute.
How mini?
Yeah.
How mini is a mini microscope? I really want to know. How small do those get?
Amazing.
I really loved also that Haley was like, a kitten who now wakes me up every day at 5:30 to feed her. Still the best gift ever, though. Oh, Kristen says yes, she's still in Melbourne. 23 years now.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Love y'all. This has been
Love
another fun, awkward, deep, dark, all the things. It all belongs. Collective conversation.
Capo too though. Yep. Got it.
We are searchlights we can see in the dark. We are rockets pointing up at the stars. We are billions of beautiful hearts. And you sold us down the river too far. What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? We have problems that wanna be solved. We are children who need to be loved. We were willing, we came when you called. But you fooled us, enough is enough. Yeah, what about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? Sticks and stones, they may break these bones, but then
Are you ready? I'll be ready.
it's the start of us waking up. Come on.
Are you ready? I'll be ready.
I don't want control. I want to let go.
Are you ready? I'll be ready.
Now it's time to let them know. What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us?
What about all the broken happy ever afters? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? What about love? What about trust? What about us?
Hi, loves. Okay, so we're gonna do a little practice together this morning. A practice that I normally do with in-person smaller groups, and so we're gonna try to do it virtually with bigger groups. So we'll see how that goes. So this last week, our dear friends Bill and Patty Pitts, fellow sojourners, had a really hard week. Bill was in the hospital, and it was scary and difficult, and they were struggling and asked for our prayers and our holding. And knowing that Sojo was happening, Sunday I asked for Sojo to hold them. And we're like, absolutely, of course. And then thought, you know what? Also, life has just been so hard for so many of us. Last week at church, we were all just in a holding the painful week space. And so many of us have just been struggling for a long time now, honestly. And everybody always has a hard thing. So let's just take a whole moment to hold space for people's hard things. A lot of us here at Sojo grew up in prayer request culture, as I like to call it, where holding space for people meant you told them that you would pray for them. And I think that I'm right when I say that most of the time we didn't actually pray for people. We just said we would. Maybe it was only me that was like, I'll pray for you, and then never actually thought of them again. But sometimes you would, right? You'd sit in prayer circles and you'd specifically name hard things going on for people, and you would make specific asks. And that whole culture of praying for people's hard things in life, that was really a big thing that we've all deconstructed and then sat with like, and then what do you do when people are struggling? Prayer culture in church caused, for a lot of us, myself included, a lot of baggage and even a lot of pain, and then has left us with like, but I still really care about people. And in community, God, it's imperative that we figure out how to hold each other, right? So I'm just constantly asking, like, what's in place of that? What's in place of that? So sometimes we'll say like thoughts and prayers, or like thinking of you, or sending love, right? We'll like find different ways of phrasing it. So one of the ways that I've figured out how to like fill that gap as we've moved out of prayer culture is to have these little like holding space for hard things ceremonies with smaller groups. So when I do that in person with small groups, we'll have a bunch of candles out, one for each person, and you just go around taking turns saying what your current hard thing is. And as each person shares, everyone else in the room says 3 short mantras. We see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. And maybe Colby can put those on the screen if that's possible. We see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. And then because we're in person, we have the candles, then whoever shared, a different person who didn't share it lights that person's candle for them. At the end, all the candles are lit, and it's just this physical, tangible, showing you that we're holding space for this hard thing. So we don't have the physical thing today. So what I'm hoping is that what y'all can do is in the comments, what I'm going to do is invite you all to share what your current hard thing is and allow us to hold you. So as you share, you'll put in your comment, my hard thing right now is, and not to be triggering with the like unspoken prayer request thing, but if you don't want to say much about your hard thing, just say something vague, we still would like to hold space for you. No matter what you're willing to share, we want to hold you. And then if you could all come around in the comments, and since we don't have the candles, use emojis, use the I care reaction, respond to the comment with these mantras I'm going to say it each time I see a comment come up, and we'll just take some space to hold our hard things this week. So I'm going to start to give us some time for people to start commenting by holding Bill and Patty Pitts. Bill fell and thought that he had just fallen and gotten hurt, went into the hospital, first thought that he had a stroke, then found that it was, and they've shared all this on FB and asked us to hold them. So, and are now thinking it was caused from a medication, like a bad reaction. And so we're celebrating that Bill's okay. We're sharing gratitude in that. And we're also holding them because this is a really hard thing still, even now that Bill is home. There are after effects from that Bill will have to look at and hold and deal with. And so they're going through a lot right now. This affects work. This affects so many things. And so we're going to hold Bill and Patty Pitts. We see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. And we love you. Me, Nancy. We see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. Hi, Donna. Your hard thing right now. We see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. Oh, mercy. We see you. Oops, it didn't put up the comment I wanted because it's scrolling. There we go. Nope, still got me. Mercy, I'm trying to hold you. We see you, and we hear you, and we're holding you. Thanks for sharing, Shane. We see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. Thanks for coming around in the comments, everybody. It's really good to see the holding and the using of these mantras. And thank you, everyone who's sharing your hard things, for trusting us. And we see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. We see you, Nate. We see you, and we hear you, and we are holding you. Laura, we see you, and we hear you, and we're holding you. Oh, Kristen, thank you for trusting us with this. You're safe in this space. And we see you, and we hear you, and we're holding you. And also, walking alongside. You're beautiful. We got you. You got a village over here, okay? Crystal, we see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. Oh, Haley, we see you and we hear you. We're holding you. We're with you. And we're proud of you. Lisa, it's been a long road. We see you, we hear you, and we're holding you. I like that Matthew turned the mantras into emojis. That's perfect. Good job, shorthand. Paul, we see you and we hear you and we're holding you. Okay, extra holding is happening and it's gonna make me sob, so. Thanks for holding each other, loves. Susan, we see you and we hear you and we're holding you. I was like, is this gonna work virtually? Y'all made it work. Of course it is. Look at y'all holding each other virtually. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for making sure that each person feels seen and heard and held. Joey, we got you. We see you, and we hear you, and we're holding you. Thank you, everyone, for being willing to sit in the more uncomfortable and more difficult things, for giving it space and time. Coming around it. It's so good to be held together. If anyone else feels like they're ready to share later after we move on from this moment, we still have the comments, and so don't feel like you missed it just because we're going to move through and do more music and more elements of the service. We got you in the comments and we see you and we hear you, and we're holding you. Love you all.
We see you and we hear you, and you hear our tuning. And we want to hold you with instruments that are in tune.
Your dog is over here being such a metaphor for something right now, and I don't know what. He's on a tether, so he doesn't knock things over. There's nothing over here that is interesting to him at all, but just the knowing that he can't go further seems to be making him lose his mind. And he's right, stretched out to the very end of the leash. Let me know when you figure out what that means.
I knew when you told me you don't want to go home tonight. You tried to just shrug it off when I asked you why. Somebody hurt you, but you're here by my side. And I knew, 'cause I can't recall when I was the one in your seat. Still got the scars and they occasionally bleed. Somebody hurt me, but I'm staying alive. And I can tell when you get nervous, you think being yourself means being unworthy. And it's hard to love with a heart that's hurting. And if you want to go out dancing, I know a place we can go, where everyone's gonna lay down their weapons. Just give me trust and watch what'll happen, 'cause I know a place we can run, yeah, where everyone's gonna lay down their weapons, Don't you be afraid of love and affection, 'cause right now it's like you're carrying all the weight of your past. I can see all your bruises, yellow, dark blue, and black. Baby, your bruises, only your body trying to keep you intact. Right now, I think we should celebrate our body's design. I think we should love our soul and mind. 'Cause maybe our purpose is to never give up when we're on the right track. And I can tell when you get nervous, you think being yourself means being unworthy. And it's hard to love with a heart that's hurting. But if you want to go out dancing, well, I know a place we can go, yeah. Everyone's gonna lay down their weapons, Just give me trust and watch what'll happen, 'cause I know a place we can run, yeah. Everyone's gonna lay down their weapons, Don't you be afraid of the love and affection, just lay down your weapon. They will try to make you unhappy. Don't let them, they will try to tell you you're not free. Don't listen, I know a place where you don't need protection, even if it's only in our imagination. Even if our skin or our guys look different, I believe all human life is significant. I throw my arms open wide in resistance. With every beat I dance my insistence that we'll build a place we can go, where everyone's gonna lay down their weapons, trust and watch what'll happen, 'cause I know a place we can run where everyone's gonna lay down their weapons, lay down their weapons. Don't you be afraid of love and affection, just lay down your weapon.
Hermit Gersh, I love that song. Just each passing time, it just hits me more and more in the feel spots. Like, oh yeah, and then that word and that lyric, and oh, so good. All right, let's see.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm 40, and it's fantastic. So excited. All right, I have something to share with us this morning. And it goes like this. There's a story in the book of Genesis, and it tells the tradition, you might say, or at least I'm going to say, it tells a tradition about how it is that the world, it came to be populated by all different kinds of people and cultures and languages. And this story can be found in Genesis chapter 11, and I'm going to share just a bit with you here. And it starts like this. Genesis 11, verse 1. So all people on the earth had one language and the same words. Boring. Just all people on the earth had one language and the same words. When they traveled east, they found a valley in the land of Shinar, and they settled there. And they said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks, and let's bake them hard." And so they used bricks for stones and asphalt for mortar. Okay, so in other words, this is a story, as I read it, about the development of a brand new kind of technology. This is a story about advances in civilization. You might say this story describes a transition from humans being these roving bands of traveling hunters and gatherers into stationary city dwellers. In his book, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, remember that book, Matthew?
I remember.
Love that book. The author Yuval Noah Harari calls this transition in our evolutionary history, he calls this, or it's called the agricultural revolution, and Yuval calls it history's biggest fraud. And here's why, a bit of why he calls it that. It's this time when our ancestors moved from being foragers who knew the land intimately and who were likely more connected with each other and definitely with creation, moving into agricultural tamers of beasts and seed. So that instead of relying on Mother Earth to provide, we began to domesticate animals, and we stayed in one place and planted our fields and our harvest. We harvested just a few ingredients, mostly like wheat and corn. We stayed in one place instead of roaming and foraging and being connected to many things. We settled into these smaller spaces where we domesticated beast and seed. And on paper, this transformation might kind of make sense, but actually it led to things such as a loss of knowledge about the broader world, and it led to hoarding of resources, which led to a culture of haves and have-nots, or more accurately put, haves and those they withheld from. And maybe the ancient storyteller in Genesis 11 was naming this same kind of transition. Let's go on. Verse 4, they said, "Come, let's build for ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the sky. And let's make a name for ourselves so that we won't be dispersed all over the earth." In other words, we're sick and tired of roaming around. We're tired of foraging. Let's just settle here. Let's make our own fate. Let's make a name for ourselves, independent of any larger source. Let's take care of ourselves. Verse 5, then the Lord came down to see this city and see this tower that the humans built. And the Lord said, so there's like one people and they have one language, and this is what they're doing with it? And now it's like everything that they plan to do, anything they set their mind to now will be possible for them. So come, let's go down. And I just love these little let's moments. It reminds us of the plurality of the divine, sort of always been there from whatever the beginning of consciousness about deities. There has been a sense of plurality and communion within the divine. Come, let's go down and mix up their language so that they won't understand each other's language. Then the Lord dispersed them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. Therefore, it's named Babel, because there the Lord mixed up the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord dispersed them all over the earth. Now, I can remember, and perhaps you can too, growing up and hearing this story, told as though it were about pride. Not necessarily this pride, but pride, thinking like we can be like gods. Story about humans trying to build a tower up to heaven to be like God. And under this reading of the story, God didn't like that. So God confused their languages so that they couldn't build tall towers anymore. And read like this, when God says, and now all that they plan to do will be possible for them, it sounds like this fragile deity who's worried that humans are going to become too powerful. Oh, we're building up to MySpace, but not MySpace. Maybe this is the original MySpace. But what if instead the God in this story sees this path that the humans are on, this path of uniformity, this path of conformity, this path of sameness, and combined with this static staleness, anchoring down into one spot forever and ever and trying to tame the world and bend it to their will rather than learning to live in harmony with it and respect it. What if God sees this and is like, oh crap, they might actually pull this off. And this path is ruinous. This path is ruinous. To me, this sounds a little bit like you've all talking about the agricultural revolution, the history's biggest fraud, the belief that our ancestors had that if we stopped being foragers and became farmers, then life would go better for us. It was this series of technological advances where each new improvement was meant to make life easier, and yet it actually added up to be these millstones around the necks of future offspring. And this is how it always works. It begins as a luxury, but then it soon becomes a necessity. Here's a quote from the book Sapiens. Yuval writes this. Humanity's search for an easier life released immense forces of change that transformed the world in ways that nobody envisioned or really wanted. A series of trivial decisions aimed mostly at filling a few stomachs. Hey, we can control and tame the wheat, and we can just sort of make it grow when we want it to grow so we can make sure we have food all year long. And gaining a little bit of security. Hey, what if we built these cities where we could build walls and we could have protection from outsiders and protection? Like, what if we stayed in one spot? It had this cumulative effect of forcing ancient foragers to then begin to spend their days carrying water buckets under a scorching sun. So now I read this story, to go back to Genesis 11, I read this story, and rather than hear it like this petty, jealous God who doesn't want humans to flourish or to be prideful, what stands out to me instead is what you might call a divine preference for difference. A divine preference for difference. There's something in humanity's DNA that bends towards sameness and likeness. But what if God is actually calling us toward difference and diversity? Left to our own, we're going to drift toward taming the wild and trying to control everything. And yet God seems more on the side of wildness and trust. I'm struck by how both in this ancient story, Genesis 11, and in some of these theories around the agricultural revolution, both of these illuminate this idea that when humans forego a life of movement and connection and diversity and adaptation, when humans forego that kind of life in favor of a life of rigidity and isolation, conformity and stubbornness, it seems that this kind of shift, it actually leads us away from flourishing. When we forego a life of movement and connection and diversity and adaptation in favor of rigidity and isolation and conformity and stubbornness, this leads us away from flourishing. And I propose that this is why God in the story confuses the people's language and disperses them across the land, because ultimately, as I believe it, God favors diversity. God favors difference. God favors individuality and transformation and change. All right, so today in the church calendar, today is known as Pentecost, which is like the time of year that we celebrate the birth of the church. And this celebration is often done by reading the story found in Acts chapter 2. And this is the story where there were disciples huddled in a house after the resurrection and the ascension. They're huddled in a house trying to figure out, well, now what do we do? We're kind of on our own here. And they had this mystical experience where there was this fierce wind blowing and there was this all-encompassing sound in the house. And there was like almost as though there were these lights of flame that sort of alighted upon each individual. And what ended up happening in this sort of group mystical experience is that all the group members began speaking out in other languages, in other dialects. So much so that it caused this crowd to gather around the house of those who were gathered together. And it was said that people from all over the various communities heard their own language, heard their own accent being spoken. Now, I'm not going to read the whole story, but I want to just point out the way in which the writer of this story, really went out of their way to list all of the different dialects and languages that all swore they were hearing come from this room of one kind of people. So this is verse 6 in Acts 2. When they heard this sound, a crowd came together in bewilderment because each one heard their own language being spoken. Utterly amazed, they asked, "Isn't everyone in the house Galilean? Aren't they all the same in there? Don't they all just sort of speak one language? Then how is it that each of us hears them in our native language? Parthians and Medes and Elamites, residents of Mesopotamia, Judea and Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt and the parts of Libya near Cyrene, visitors from Rome, both Jewish and converts to Judaism, Cretans and Arabs, we hear them declaring the wonders of God in our own tongues." I mean, that's a pretty eclectic mix. And in verse 12, amazed and perplexed, they asked one another, "What does this mean?" Which is a great question. What does this mean? And then look at this little side note. Some people, though, were kind of making fun of them and said they just had too much wine. They're just drunk. What a fun little early church note. The first beer and hymns. What does this mean, they ask? Well, I think it means this. Here's my answer to that question 2,000 years later. What does it mean? Check this out. I think it means when the Spirit of God has her way, she prefers plurality over sameness. She prefers diversity over uniformity. That's what I think this means. It's almost as though right from the outset, there was this sense that if this movement's going to succeed, if it's going to outlive the original first few women and men who followed in the way of Jesus, then it could not become just another join us, be like us, look like us, talk like us, think like us. Off screen, one of the individuals said, "And yet," yeah, it is eventually, right? How it sort of devolved. So if the story of the Tower of Babel points to this God who puts humans on a path toward diversity and adaptation, change, transformation, connection, growth, because that's the path toward flourishing, then I think in a similar way, the story of Pentecost and the birthing of this movement that we now call Christianity points to a Spirit who likewise puts us on a path toward diversity, adaptation, transformation, connection, and growth, because that is the path toward flourishing. In fact, I low-key propose to you that this story, and the story of flames from heaven and blowing of divine wind and everyone shouting out in different languages, this might actually be called the queering of the church. This is actually what I want to call this story. The moment when Spirit said, oh, no, you don't. You're not going to make yet another institution where everyone is the same. Not on my watch. So to all of you who have ever felt different than the group, to all of you who have ever felt like an outsider looking in, to all you who have wondered why don't I look like or talk like or think like or love like, quote, everyone else. To all you who know the burden and the weight of feeling like you're not normal or feeling weird. To all you who know what it's like to feel as though society and family and your own internal voice is trying to mold and shape and squish you into forms and boxes that were never you. I say that today is your day. Today is the day where you can remember that the Spirit of God prefers your company to that of the masses, to that of the normals. So friends, in this morning, and for the month of Pride, may we not fear change, growth, transformation. Because that kind of movement, that's indication of our connection with God. And may we not fear the call to leave our towers, to leave our fortresses, to leave our comforts and our safety for such adventure and connection with the larger world. That is our path to the divine. And may we not fear those who are different from us, for such diversity is actually required for the fullness of God to be manifest. Amen. All right, friends, you're going to share a song with us.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a song that you said seemed to really fit well with these ideas, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and you wrote it.
I did.
Okay.
We did.
All right.
I wrote this lyric back in October. I probably was just hanging out in your YouTube comment section. Is my guess.
That sounds like something that would happen.
Sounds like it would be a thing that happened. And
Yeah.
so
I originally had called it like a love song to resistant evangelicals, but the idea was very much what you were just saying. So I'm so glad that you told us what you're talking about this week, because it's nice of you to remind us that we wrote this song. And Matthew, beautiful, beautiful music behind it. It's called This Is Not the Unknown. And the idea was this place that the church is going, this place that we're going, this place that we're asking you to go isn't the unknown. It isn't the unfamiliar. It's your home. This thing we've built, this box, this tower, that's the unfamiliar. That's the uncomfortable place. That's the place you were never meant to be. So there's no reason to be afraid, because this place we're going, it's not the unknown. It's who you are. It's your home. It goes like this.
When I was a child, they told me in heaven we'd all lose the weight of our names. The king and the wonder sharing a table, and all loved exactly the same. We lost the map along the way, decided we knew who could and couldn't stay. Now we're saving the souls we shamed away. This is not the unknown, this is our coming home. Don't fear the turn of the tide, no one here gets tossed aside. Just breathe and lean into the ride. This is how you grow, this is where we're going now. I was a child, I thought that in heaven we'd worship the man who made time. His eyes like a flame, his justice too heavy, with vengeance that never was mine. Oh, love skeptics fear no rod. We burn the thrones of bigger little gods. We're outrunning the lightning and the odds. We'll make heaven our own. This is our coming home. Don't fear the turn of the tide. No one here gets tossed aside. So breathe and lean into the ride. This is how you grow. This is where we're going now. Come as you are. You can come to the table. We may not have much, but we've plenty to spare. Nothing we have, not a treasure, a moment means something or anything without you there. No, we need you there. So breathe and lean into the right. Yeah, this is not the unknown. Whoa, don't fear the turn of the tide. No one here gets tossed aside. So breathe and lean into the right. This is not the unknown. This is how you grow. This is where we're going now.
Donna, is literally the first time anybody has heard that song because bless these gentlemen. I this morning was like, hey, remember that song from October that we never finished? Let's do it. Can we figure that out in 20 minutes? They're like, sure.
And of course they could.
Okay.
Do you want communion?
Amazing.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, do you want communion?
I'm gonna pass on communion today. So it's Sojo, so communion means you can do whatever you want, including pass on it, like Karen and I are today.
You can go your own way.
I'm on your side today.
I like it.
Put this back on. That didn't work. That was anticlimactic.
Oh, we can do your message. I say that today is your day.
Don't do it. It was frozen.
This is fun.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, yeah, that's what happened earlier.
Your face is eating your
I
face.
can erase it. Or no, I can.
Whoa!
Why are you erasing me?
It's like repainting you.
It's Pride Month. Don't erase me.
I don't know what's happening, but I'm doing it.
Oh, this is weird.
I want to see if that's on the live stream.
That's
not.
Don't think it.
Oh, no one can see what we're laughing at
Not
right
sure.
now?
Unclear. Does it look like some weird Microsoft Paint's happening over here?
With
Probably
two of
not.
Matthew? No?
They're like, what? That's broken.
Oh, it's not on the live stream.
We have.
None of us
we
can
have broken.
see the.
Sorry, everyone. It's very.
None of us can see the
Live
camera.
stream's fine.
Sorry.
If you could
We
see
thought-
it, you would understand more what we are
Weird
talking about.
it's
glitch
even
thing going
better.
on over here.
We can't see your issue.
Yeah,
That's a perfect way to say it. You can't see our issue.
Story of my life.
We have issues.
Although we try hard to
Issues.
put them out there for all to see.
You try hard. I don't have to try it that at
Oh, that's
all.
true. Take what you have for your communion this morning. I've got this lovely crumb donut that my friends got me for my birthday from Mary's Donuts, my favorite favorite donut place.
That's where I got you donuts.
Okay,
And,
Mary.
yes, correct.
Oh, they also go to Mary's? There's a Mary's over
These
here?
are also from
No,
Mary's.
no. It was Colby's birthday, so we all went.
Went for a drive.
Oh, you went to Mary's because
also-
it's Colby's
There's
birthday?
also coffees and cars.
That's
at
cute.
7 to 9 a.m. every second Sunday or something. So there was always.
Wait, what does that mean?
Just in the
Oh.
in the
Like the
park,
class
Oh, in
right?
Santee?
Yeah.
That's
So it's just me and all the bros.
Coffees
being
and
fucking-
cars, and then Ben's like
Coffees, cars, and bench.
riding
Oh,
up.
that's awesome.
I'm gonna finish my communion before we get to.
I've already finished.
Yeah, that's
mine.
great.
Let's go.
Take and receive.
Oh,
I
sorry.
had mine like an hour ago.
Oh yeah.
Millie says I would like some.
Oreos and water. We're having fudge. You're having fudge? Wait, jalapeno,
Jalapeno
chocolate? Orange cream? Oh my goodness. What are y'all
Wow.
doing over there at the Van
Really
Line
love
House?
spicy chocolate.
Jalapeno chocolate. That sounds amazing.
Really love that.
Yeah, I like the
Maybe
chili
I'll put some
chocolate.
jalapeno in your brownies today.
Yeah.
I don't think I should do that.
You
It
do
seems
it,
like
though.
a risk I'm not
That could
willing
be-
to take.
It's like one corner of the
Just don't let
pan.
Huck do it, because it'll get real spicy real fast.
Were you at my house that day? I think you were, when you just put that cayenne cake in the oven and then pulled it out and tried to just sit it on the counter and tell us all to have some cake and not tell us that it was cayenne cake.
It's fun. Hey, we've got a few house notes. Lovely. All right.
Quite get it.
I think these are all in here. House note number 1 is beginning in 3 Sundays from now, or 4, depending on how you count them. We're going to a new season for Sojo, which is continuing our live stream, virtual service here on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., like you all know. And then we're going to begin in-person services at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in North Park at 5 p.m., 5 o'clock post-morning. We're going to gather and meet in person. And it's going to be 2 different services, 2 different experiences. So overachievers, you can participate in both. But this is going to be our attempt to reintegrate back into a church that meets regularly on Sundays while also maintaining this lovely community that we've built here in the virtual world.
Bighorn Bakery in Borrego Springs. That's amazing. I'm sorry, Colby.
On Friday.
About your
I'm
life.
still mad about that screenshot.
On Friday, are you trying to reproduce it? I like
I'm gonna give you another chance.
On Friday, Michael Gunger is going to be here at Sojo, and by here at Sojo, I mean the aforementioned St. Luke's Episcopal Church that we're going to be renting from in July. On Friday, Michael Gunger is going to come do a concert, and I strongly encourage you to come out if you have the open night to do so. You can get tickets at
Yes,
sojourngrace.com.
Yes, I am.
Scroll down and you'll see the events and the Gunger concert link there. It's a suggested donation, so when you go to the Eventbrite page, you can just pay whatever you want.
What is the
to
first
get-
date of in-person church?
July 3rd, Sunday, July
July
3rd.
3rd.
1 month from this day.
Also, Anne, what is an HEB
Polite,
coconut Oreo?
HEB is a store.
Oh, okay.
Coconut
And a
orange.
coconut Oreo is a thing? I didn't know this. I guess Oreo's been doing tons of flavors lately, huh?
Yeah.
Coconut Oreo.
Maybe it's human engineered brownie.
Yes, and
Coconut Oreo.
that is exactly what Kate was laughing
Yes. Yes, 100%. It's just too perfect.
at. Still mad about that.
Sorry that I'm laughing at your anger.
Texas grocery store. That's what Heb is. And then finally, the last house note is our Joy Box. If you would like to partner with us in
so
our
sorry about
vision
my
here at Sojourn
existence.
to create places that foster wholeness, spiritual, social, and emotional wholeness, then we invite you to join us in that work through tax-deductible contributions. You can do that at sojourngrace.com/donate or at Venmo at Sojourn Grace. And thank you to all of you who give to help this place exist and thrive.
I love that Colby is on a train and Kate is like off in the field.
I really like being in the middle because I just stay here like this.
Welcome to our life.
It's so fun.
Lots of practice with this. Lots of
Plenty of
practice.
time. Plenty of time.
Great. And then lastly, before
Doesn't
we
even get annoyed.
our-
Or if he does, it goes somewhere else. Not at me. So it's great. It works.
someone else.
I'm fine.
Consequences.
Very ominous. Like, somewhere down the line.
I think the answer to Susan's question is yes.
Are we baking for in-person church? That's an excellent question. We haven't yet. Oh, I had a whole thing I wanted to say about in-person.
Oh, you did?
Insofar as people who would like to help me make it happen,
Oh.
like building up sort of new hospitality teams and teams like that, please reach out to me. I meant to start a thing to start building that up, whatever. So it might be more of a slow roll as we get it, but I think baked goods should be part of the rollout, Susan. Yes, I do, 100%.
I like your name there, Alphabet Mafia. It took me a second. And
Mhm.
also, you're sweet.
It's a reclaimed name.
You
That's what
like it?
haters started calling.
Oh,
us.
really?
Yeah.
So now you've used it.
You're like, thank you, we'll take it.
We like that one.
Because it sounds really cool. So
They made an offer you couldn't refuse. Okay, this is our benediction. This is what we say of all of our gatherings here. It's an invitation to go forth into your week with bravery
y'all get
because you are
tired
a
of us?
loved child
Is
of
this,
God.
like,
and nobody
exhausting?
can take that from
this
you. And also an
exhausting?
invitation to be kind because everyone else is also a
With a new
loved
sitcom
child of
page, I
God.
don't know what you're
Okay?
talking about.
So if someone will lead us, we will follow.
Where you lead,
He just keeps plowing through.
I love it.
Nevertheless, he persisted.
There it is.
Hey.
And not
Who's got
tired
it?
of
Who's got it?
Because you are a
The
child.
treasure child of God.
We're not tired of you either.
And God is not tired of you.
And God is not tired of you.
Y'all are making us wait today, and
I know.
that's
Oh, we're still
that's
getting
nice.
Cosby
braves.
affirmation.
We'll wait.
It's nice.
There's
No,
a
it's fair.
lag.
We deserve it. It's
There's
good.
a
It's
lag
great.
today.
Oh,
Be
Aw.
kind.
because
Because so is everyone else.
But it's only Colby's birthday.
Thank you.
Well, and
Yes.
Be proud, be
Come on.
brave,
Oh,
be kind,
yeah, you are.
and be proud. Trying to put it up there. Bless you
because
all.
You rock.
the church is queer.
We're still workshopping that one.
Because you rock.
Be proud because you rock.
Because hey, you rock.